In Ghana, the handover of power from the British government went off smoothly and with dignity. In Nigeria this year, Princess Alexandra handed over control on behalf of the Queen. In Congo this year, the Belgians handed over to Mr. Lumumba. In one of the greatest abdications of responsibility in the history of colonial government, the Belgians gave the Congolese control without any attempt to prepare them for independence. The United Nations are still trying to restore order in Congo, but there's another reason why Africa has suddenly become a center of world attention. For the first time, the voice of the new Africa is being heard in the UN. This voice, speaking of the rights of man, has been listened to with great respect by the world leaders. The new African states form a powerful bloc in the Cold War. Voting together, they can sway the issue in the United Nations. Thus, the impression left behind in our African territories is of the utmost importance.
I think that the British policy towards our African territories is an admirable, policy as compared to, say, Belgian or Portuguese policy in Africa, because it doesn't stand in any way on the way of the African inspiration, except perhaps when politicians talk about this. They want to go faster than really the British policy is, than the British would like to go. But I think on the whole, the British policy in Africa is much more admirable as compared to many of the others.
An admirable policy, but an enormous task. Britain has governed in Kenya and Uganda for over 60 years, Tanganyika for 40, and now there are 16,000 primary schools, 949 secondary schools, and 1 university. This for a total African population of approximately 21 million. Mrs. McAdam, what exactly are you trying to find out about these children?
We're trying to see if we give them a really good start, if it'll make their learning at a later stage quicker and easier and fuller.
Have you any indication so far that that will be the case?
I think quite a lot. They've got far more vitality than the average child. They're beginning to verbalize their thoughts. They're beginning to rush out and collect things and show interests that other African children seldom do.
Are they roughly the equivalent of European children?
In what sort of way?
Well, I mean, is an African baby as intelligent and as mature as a European baby?
Physically, he seems to be more mature, and he seems, on some of the social tests, to outstrip the European child. So that it'll be interesting to see how long that advance goes on and when it deteriorates, but we haven't found that out yet.